Hello, digital marketers and growth hackers, and welcome to another video where I'm going to share one of my recent failures with a client. Now, often I've only seen people sharing their success stories, on social media, YouTube, XYZ platform, but no one really shares their failure stories. And I'm sure most of them also had some failures with their ad campaigns of their digital marketing campaigns. And it is also important to showcase you guys this part of a person as well. So today I'm going to share a Google Ads account scenario with you where I only generated 11 conversions for the client on a spend of £1,000, which is really, really bad. This data belonged to 1st Feb to 29 Feb 2020, and I generated 11 leads at a cost of £92. I mean, that is a lot of cost, a lot expensive, even in general sense as well. Being in the service industry, you're generating a lead at 92 per pound. That is a lot, man. I mean, that is complete failure right there. So before I dive right into why I wasn't able to generate leads for the client, let me show you my approach first. Like, what is the approach that I take uh, when I first plan and execute a Google ad campaign? Now, I'm not going to go in depth about this entire process. I'm just going to give you a small brief so that you guys can understand this video more better, and you can understand my conclusions or my learnings out of this failure. So I have created a very small mind map for you guys just to short the things out and be specific. So when it comes to Google Ads, when I'm first starting a campaign or I'm launching a campaign, I plan and execute the campaign on the basis of two levels: the campaign level and the landing page level. Now, running Google Ads, you cannot say to a client that that I'm only going to manage your campaigns. You have to take care of your landing page by itself. No, not at all. To get the best out of your campaigns, you need to also optimize the landing page and not just the campaigns. So that is why I take Google Ads with two approaches, that is campaign level and landing page level, which have further sub points in it. So if I move on to the campaign level, there are 3 points in the beginning that I focus on: the audience settings, the keyword selection and type, and the third one is the ad copies. So audience settings is basically your customer persona. What sort of audience you want to target? What is their age? Which location they belong to? What are their challenges? What are their goals? What are the problems they're facing in order to, opt for your service or product? Basic things. Basically, the entire audience settings is based on the customer persona that you create for your client. The second is keyword selection and type. I repeat, keyword selection and type. These two things may sound similar, but they are not. Keyword selection basically means the phrases that you're going to use in your ad group, or your single word that you're going to use in your ad group, or the long tail keyword that you're going to use in your ad group. But keyword type is basically in what form are you going to use that keyword. Are you going to use a keyword as a broad match, or are you going to use it as a broad match modifier? Are you going to use the exact match, or are you going to use a phrase match? So this also plays a key role when you are planning out a campaign and executing it. And it is okay if you guys decide to start with broad match and it doesn't work, then you go to the phrase match and it works. It is okay. It is not always said that your first ad group will always be successful. You learn over time. If within 3 days, if the campaign is not performing, just make some changes in the ad group and see how it works. With Google Ads, you have to keep on testing. There's no fixed strategy, but this basic formation is the pillar of all the strategies that you can create on. Basically, you can treat them as your principles. Now, the third thing that comes under campaign level is ad copies. So basically, your ad copies should be direct, should be relevant to the keyword that the person is searching, or relevant to the service or product that the person is searching. Number one uh, thing, or number one strategy, or number one point you have to keep in mind is that always keep your ad copies with a direct message. Don't put any indirect message at all. Be direct. You are selling digital marketing services, just mention it that we are selling digital marketing services at XYZ pound, or we are giving this much discount on digital marketing service. That's it. Don't try to be like Shakespeare or something and use freaking advanced level English, which is confusing, or indirect message, making sure that your client try to decode it. No one has that much time in that world. Everyone wants to be get done with things quickly, and if they are taking so much time to decode your ad copy, it is not going to work. Your conversion rate is going to fall. So that is about the campaign level. Let's move on to the landing page level now. Landing page level, there are four things, basically four basic points that you have to keep in mind based on which you create your entire landing page. The first one is easy to read and understand. Basically, this means that your content should be so simple and so simple, sorry, that even a common man can understand it. You don't have to use high English words, or you don't have to put an indirect message for the person to decode. You're not writing a poetry on the landing page. You are trying to sell your service or your product, and you have to make sure that whenever, even in the first visit and the first section, when the people read your content, they are able to get it at, okay, this is what the person is selling, and this is relevant for me, this is what exactly I came looking for. That is the only time the person will realize that, okay, I can go further in the landing page and see what is happening. Second, page load speed. We are living in the world of high internet. We are living in the world where people don't have patience anymore to wait for a website to load for 1 or 2 minutes. Page load speed is low, then there is a problem. You need to make sure that it is high enough so that your page can load within 5 seconds. This is the basic formula, guys. Low speed equals to less conversions. High speed is equal to more conversions. So you need to make sure that your page load speed is really high, so that it takes only less than 5 seconds to get the page loaded. On an average, if it is somewhere between 1 to 5 seconds, that's the best thing, because that is the average duration a person is willing to wait for a website to load. Third is mobile experience. The world has moved on from computers to laptops to XYZ big devices to a freaking small device, which is your smartphone. Now, they spend more time on their smartphone than on their desktops or laptops. So you need to make sure that your mobile experience is really good, better than your desktop experience. I've often seen in some of the landing pages, that because of the creativity in the mobile version, the text or the visualization becomes hard to understand or hard to read. Don't make that mistake. You don't have to create a innovative landing page. Just create a landing page which is direct, which is just appealing, simple, basic, and easy to understand. And the fourth is number of call to actions. You don't have to stuff your entire landing page with call to actions. You need to make sure that you have relevant number of call to actions, and also need to make sure that those call to action doesn't appear to be as spams. They should be natural with the entire flow of the landing page, and it should not create any pain in their minds that, oh my god, why is he asking for information after every scroll I do. That is not the right approach, right? So this is my basic Google Ads approach, based on which I create my strategies. You can consider this as the principles of my approach, and I always apply these whenever I'm onboarding a new client, or I already have an existing client and I'm trying to make a strategy. I will discuss this entire approach in depth in another video, when I'm going to create a campaign from scratch. I will show you guys that how I do keyword research, how I get the landing page created and everything. So moving back to our main thing, which is basically the ISA account, the Google Ad account, where I experienced failure even though I applied the same approach to an extent. Now, basically, a basic background of the client. So the client belongs to the financial industry in UK, and he sells saving bonds or fixed rate bonds to elderly people in UK. Now, elderly people, we are talking about our age of 45 plus. So that is why in all our campaigns we targeted only those people, which further reduce the chances of getting better conversions, because not a lot of elderly people uses Google search to get clients. Sorry, not clients. I mean, to get their service, or customers. They still like to prefer the old way of calling the service up, or looking through the newspaper ads and all those things. All right. So on the left hand side, if you can see, there are 4 campaigns created. Out of this one is a smart campaign, which the client was already running before he onboarded me. Now, the thing with smart campaign is that you don't really have a lot of control over it. The campaign can either spend too much in one day or spend too little in one day, depending upon the settings you have done. So there's no really human control over it. It is all AI based, and that is why the client decided that he's gonna switch off the campaign and focus on a person who can get leads by manually managing the account. So I ran 3 campaigns for the client within the period of Feb. And my first campaign was the Compare UK bonds, which I started with the client. As you can see, I generated 8 conversions at a cost after spending £863, and therefore my cost per conversion must be somewhere around £108. Really expensive, even though my CTR was decent enough, 5%, but still I failed to generate a lot of leads from this campaign. Now let's look at the challenges that I faced. I created 2 ad groups in this. The first ad group that I created was Compare bonds. But since it was not performing, no wait, the first ad group I created was rates. Yeah, rates. The thing with rates was that, I was just using keywords like ICR interest rates, best cash ICR rates, ICR saving rates, best ICR rate, basically for the people who are just looking for rates, because these terms had huge search volume. But then I realized that, okay, people are just looking for rates. They're not really filling up the forms or anything. They're just coming to they are just there to find the rates, and if they're not finding the rates, they just bounce off. And I believe this campaign didn't generated any conversions or impressions. I think it did generated any impressions. Zero impressions, because my I was using a very manual CPC method just to make sure I don't spend a lot of cost. But okay, then I started another ad group which was compare bonds, where I was using the keywords like fixed rate bonds, fixed rate ISR. Let me just show you from here. So I was basically using broad match modifier plus phrase match keywords in this account in this ad group. Best investment plan with, and these were really relevant keywords which started giving me clicks. So I received 680 clicks, and uh, these were the impressions, and the conversions that I received was 8. More or less it should be 9, 10. There was some problem with the tracking as well, so I believe it should be somewhere between 9 or 10. So this was the thing I got. Now this is a very poor result, basically. And because I'm getting a lead at a cost of 108 108 pounds, that is not really good at all. So I decided to turn this campaign off, and then I switched to another one, that was search investment. Right now, this campaign performed a bit better. I got 3 conversions at a cost of 153. CTR is 4.58. That is okay. And my cost per conversion was 50.86, which is too high as per the industry norms, according to the client. The client said that his competitors are getting a lead at a cost of around 20 to 30 pounds per lead, and we were getting it at 50 pounds, which is okay, which is all right. I started this campaign very late in uh, uh, late in Feb. Let's see what. So I started on 17th Feb, and I think I paused this campaign or I did not. When did I pause this campaign? Uh, Campaign changed. Yeah, so I paused this campaign on 21 because I was testing another thing, because we stopped getting leads after some time. So I started the search investment 2 campaign, which didn't work because I used some sort of manual CPC settings, maximize clicks, and I tried to manually set CPC, which was very low, but it didn't work. Then I turned it to maximize clicks, and by that time the client decided to leave me. So it's okay, guys. So these are the things. As you can see, the 2 campaigns that I ran, I got good number of, what do you call, clicks out of it. From the first campaign I got 680 clicks. From the second campaign I got 91 clicks at a decent amount, which is okay. That means that our ads were showing up, the ad copies were better, the people were clicking on our ad because they found it relevant. So the keyword selection, the ad groups, the audience settings, and the, if I go back to the mind map, and the ad copies were all relevant for us. So that means our campaign was working. But then people were landing, and but not converting, or not filling up the form on a landing page. So let's see what was the problem that I faced on the landing page. So if I go to the first campaign, and uh, if I go to ads and extensions, and I click on a ad copy, so this is a landing page that I was using for in the first campaign. Now, this landing page is not created by me, it was created by the client. I only made some few modifications after I onboarded, because the client was not willing to pay for the entire landing page. So I said, okay, I will just make few modifications to ensure call to action buttons. So basically, wherever you say request brochure buttons like these, I added it on the landing page to get more, more CTA. But the thing with the landing page is that it doesn't look professional at all. It doesn't look like a person, it doesn't generate trustworthiness in it. It looks like fake. If I look at the mobile page view, the text looks strange, the background image is not right. I mean, it just looks like some 2002 HTML version of the landing page that I've created in a modern times. And whether it is me or someone else, look at this. This is not even the color doesn't even match the background, and this just didn't work. And this is so much text right here in disclaimer. So even though this landing page has a lot of visualization, and and the text and the content is also relevant, like bank beating interest rates, but the actual appeal of the landing page doesn't look professional, doesn't look compelling, that I'm willing to spend my money with this person and say, you are the right person for me to invest my money with. And it doesn't give me that feeling, because when it comes to money, a lot of emotions are connected, and especially when we are dealing with old people, which is 45 plus, they have a lot of emotions attached to their money. They want to invest their money cleverly. They want to get all the details A to Z before they are actually willing to say, you know what, take my money and work on it. So so i so one of the reasons why my first campaign failed was is because the landing page experience was not that good. Even though the content and page load speed, mobile experience, not mobile experience can also be said, number of call to actions, they were all there, but it was not visually appealing. Like, mobile experience was good, there was not a lot of confusion or anything, but then again, the person was not, because it was not appealing, the person was not motivated to actually read the entire content. And because of that, uh, I didn't got any leads out of it. If I go to my second campaign, that is search investment, and if I see the landing page that I was using here, okay, the landing page has been removed, so I cannot see it. The client must have removed it. So that is okay. So basically, even in the second landing page, it was much worse than this. It was only text, 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 few pictures, and it was like horrible than even this one. This was even still better because I made some changes as much as I could, because the client was not willing to pay for the entire development. So I only made those changes that I was able to based on my uh, you know knowledge of coding and web designing. All right, guys. So let me show you what I learned from this failure this time. So basically, what I learned is that you have to be, number one, be transparent with your client from the beginning. By this, what I mean is that basically you have to tell your client that even if your rivals are getting, or if your competitors are getting more leads than you, it is because they have been running ads for a longer period than you. When you start your ad for the first time, you cannot expect 5 or 6 leads in a day at once. An ad account takes time to become mature, and it takes at least 1 to 2 weeks to make that ad account even close to getting mature. So even though I was transparent with the client, that this is the result I can get. We can get at least 2 leads or 3 leads in a day in the beginning. But then client had a picture that my competitors are getting 6 to 7 leads, or maybe 5 to 6 leads, whatever his number was. He kept on changing uh, in a day. Why cannot he get? So I said, okay, we can try. And I said, like, okay, go ahead and let's try. The second thing that he did, like, he didn't allow me to get my own landing page created. And because of that, the user experience became really bad. Even though my campaign was performing, we were getting a lot of clicks, but because the landing page visualization, the landing page appealing was not there, no one really trusted my client service, and they decided to just bounce off. As you guys can already see, we got a pretty good CTR rate, 5%, and people were coming 600, 700. Total, we got 700 clicks in total. And out of 700 clicks, let's just assume that only 650 or 90 people actually loaded the 690 people actually loaded the landing page, and hardly 1% you know uh, filled up the form. That is not a great number. So that was the first thing. Be transparent with your client from the beginning. You just cannot say to the client that I'm just going to manage your Google ads. I will not manage your landing page. Even if the client says I just want you to manage my Google ads, the landing page is perfect. Don't listen to the client. The client doesn't have that much experience with the Google ads as much as you might be having, because you've been doing this on a regular basis. The client might have some basic knowledge because he might be running Google ads before you, so he might be putting his knowledge with you, like, I know this, I know that. But don't listen to it. Go with your guts and say that, okay, see, I can understand you have a knowledge of Google ads, but this is my experience, and my experience says that landing page is not that good. Perfect. And You cannot work for free for him. If the client is not giving you payment to get the landing page created, then you cannot just say, you know what, I'm just going to make free for you. You cannot do that, man. After all, you are also working for money, and you are putting in your manual labor hours in there to get the job done. The second thing is that it is okay to say no. Let me make it bold. It is okay to say no to some clients. When you realize that, okay, this client is trying to put a lot of inputs in the freaking campaign, you need to just say no to that person. Because why? The reason is that, he will keep on questioning your every motive, your every action, that why are you doing this, why not you do this and that, which is sometimes get irritated. The exceptions exist everywhere, and even in this case it might exist, like a client, who has some decent experience with Google Ads, and his reasons are logical, then it is okay to listen to him. But a person whose reasons are not logical, he says, why are you doing this, why are you doing that, it is okay to say no. A person who is not understanding your approach and just saying that I'm going to pay 50% of the amount, not the entire amount, for XYZ thing. For example, in this case, he was saying that I'm going to pay only for Google Ads and not for the landing page. It is okay to say no. The reason why I decided to go with this client was because I wanted to, have an experience with the bond industry, as a lot of people actually, are running Google Ads for this sort of service these days, and I just wanted to experience it. But then the client that I found uh, didn't really, you know, was on the same mindset as me, and because of that, that affected results, right? So I learned two things from this thing. Number one, be transparent with your client from the beginning, and number two, it is okay to say no. Guys, there are a lot of clients in the market, there are a lot of people who are looking for digital marketing services, and just because one client is saying, yeah, I want to work with you, but you know that he's going to bring a lot of pain to you, just say no to him, because you don't have that much, you know mindset to deal with such clients. So guys, this was it for today's video. I hope it helped you in some way. If it helped you, please give a like, give your feedback in the comments. I'm always happy here to help. You can get, if you guys want to get in touch with me, I'm also mentioning my LinkedIn and Instagram account, and my agency website from where you can get in touch with me. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.